What's going on, everybody? This is SafeWord. Ba, 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 ba.
Wow! Wow!
That was my
All
horn.
right, so you guys know what it is. This is your platform for teaching, learning, and opening the eyes of our audience to the world of kink, BDSM, and relationships. You know who it is. It's your runner-up for sexiest SafeWord co-host, Mr. K. Marcos.
And I mean, you know, who's always keeping it sexy and fly, runs this shit. Ha! Your host, Orora Storm.
And I am your new co-host, Callista Fury.
And I am your not so new co-host, Knight Wagner.
So, if you watched the video this week, then you have an idea what this live is about. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you're just confused. Either way, I think you should go watch it and figure it out. But either way, you'll find out soon enough. I'm not telling you now, though. All right, cool. Callista.
Absolutely. But do us a favor, if you like our content today, give us a like and subscribe for more educational content on kink, BDSM, and relationships.
All right, so real quick, we need to say hello to our A1 since day one. All right, he rocks with us on all of our videos. He's just our super fan. So, crew, can we say hello to Roy? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
What up, Roy? You're my boy, Blue.
He is our super fan, okay? If you want your shout out like Mr. Roy, then you gotta, rock with us. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. But here's the deal. This is SafeWord. And here on SafeWord, we have a safe word of the day. We use this safe word to stop, halt, and completely put a pause on all topics of conversation. So, SafeWord crew, would we like to tell everybody what the safe word of the day is? If you don't know, it's right here on the board. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Lanes. Like stay indoors.
So we say that word if it's getting too hot, too heavy, or you just want the conversation to stop, or you want someone to shut the hell up. Say the safe word of the day. But sometimes we have audio issues. So crew, can we show everybody what we do when we have audio issues and we're saying the safe word and no one's shutting the heck up? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Zoltan. All right. So throw up that hand signal if you're saying the safe word and no one's shutting the up. All right, but make sure that you say the safe word of the day so that everyone knows what it is. Mr. Kane, do we have hot topics?
Hell yeah, we do.
Yes. All right.
All right,
Oh
so
boy.
I took us away from our
I don't know if
usual.
I'm ready for this one.
I took us away from our usual macabre, hot topics, and I brought some fun stuff today. Well, fun stuff for us because we get to talk about it. Not so fun for the people involved. All right, so first thing on the docket. And I don't know if a lot of you guys are familiar with it. I know a lot of our viewers probably have, like young children and everything. So you guys are familiar with the Disney movie that just came out, Lightyear, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, has anybody gotten a chance? Has anybody gotten a chance to check it out yet?
No, I haven't.
I have. I saw it. It was really good.
Controversy.
Yes. So.
Okay, well, I just like the movie, okay? Like, I don't know the history, the contra. I like the movie. The movie's good.
You liked it?
I did.
It was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't.
It was pretty good.
I mean, it wasn't Toy Story. It's a far cry from like back in the day when there were some like feel good moments and everything. But with regards to that, the movie Lightyear has gotten an rated R rating in some countries because of one specific like 3-second moment, and it's regarding a same-sex kiss.
Oh.
So
banned. You can't you can't show that.
That doesn't make any sense because there's same-sex kisses and relationships happening on all the shows now without a rated R.
yeah, but a lot of those shows don't go
watching all the
streaming
shows.
like worldwide as much as like Disney does. Like Disney's kind of like for lack of a better word, just a worldwide enterprise that, like when they drop a film, it goes all over the place. I don't know why, like Avengers and like some of the Marvel joints don't get like rated R in some countries because they do tackle a lot of these issues. But for a children's cartoon, they thought it was a little bit too far to have two women sharing an intimate moment for all of about like, I think maybe 2 seconds. Like you see them together, they give each other a little peck on the cheek, and then that's it.
Is it a peck? Now, the Aurora, you saw it. Was it a peck or was it more of like a passionate lip embrace?
No, it's a peck. It's a peck at best.
It was quick. Like you could tell Disney was really trying to like put it out there, but not make too big a deal out of it.
I liked how they did it though, especially because I'm bi. Okay, so like, I get the fight that we've had to go through to get our rights, all of that, but I feel like they're overdoing it a lot in a lot of shows and stuff like that. So I liked the way that they just kind of touched on it and then left it. Like it's just a normal thing. Cool. All right. You know?
Now I hear a little bit different here in Europe. When I saw the initial article where there was a huge like, oh my goodness, they're basically, you know, disrobing and lip locking, you know. Okay, one thing is for kids. All right. It's a Disney film. I'm sure there's a rating. Ratings are a little bit different in Europe. It's like EB or EC, whatever.
Okay.
But there's still a rating system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's rated a certain level, it means it was approved. So, is it a problem to show kids who are a particular age this kind of thing, or are we like really being super sensitive?
Oh, we're being super sensitive.
Yeah, we're being super
That's
sensitive.
really
'cause
sensitive.
because I've seen the movie, and literally it's about the planet's captain now. You know what I'm saying? And she's got a lesbian relationship. She ends up having a kid. You know, the whole nine. But it's like they don't ever show her like making out with her girlfriend, her wife. None of that. It's just like an embrace. They walk into a room. You know, things like that.
So
and you can tell they're together, but it's not.
So for you guys who haven't seen it, it's part of a montage moment. So it's literally
Yeah.
like a bunch of jump cuts, you know, in between scenes because of certain events that are happening in the movie. We're not here for spoilers, but
Spoilers, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, like it's literally like a jump cut sequence where it's certain things are transpiring that take place over time, and so it just constantly loops back to referencing how much time is passing. And so this one particular scene is like the grand total of it in this whole montage is like maybe 5 or 6 seconds long, where somebody returns at a later point in time, and this person in particular is pregnant and walking into her room and where her wife is waiting, and they just like, well, it was good seeing you again, and so like they say hi to each other, give each other a quick peck, and then it's off to the next scene. So it's literally like maybe 1 or 2 seconds. 3 at the most. So it's not, you know, it doesn't take over the screen. It's not polarizing to the entire central message of the movie. It's like that.
It's a side note. It's a side note. It's like showing what's happening through a timeline progression. Okay, this person, you know, gets married. This person has a relationship, gets married. Then later on in the timeline period, she's pregnant. And then later on in the timeline period, you see her walk into the room and her wife's there and her grown child is there graduating. You know what I'm saying? With his wife. It's like, yeah.
Definitely
So
science fiction.
it's just like, so I've got to say something that Roy actually said, because this is actually pretty spot on. He goes, what I found funny was that most Disney movies are rated PG, right? And that Disney original movies are rated G, which I find kind of funny because if you look at like Peter Pan, okay, there's a lot of racial slurs in that. Yeah. There's a lot of like, you know, things that should not be said at all.
Maybe today, back then, that was general.
Back then, it was toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? It was fine.
Yeah.
But like, why, if you're gonna have all these restrictions around new stuff coming out, then go back and re-rate your old stuff.
That's a good point.
Well, and one of the things I thought was interesting, like staying on the Disney topic, is that I don't know if you guys have checked out Dumbo recently. So, I mean, favorite childhood, you know, kind of movie. You know, it's one of those building blocks, essentials to the Disney franchise, where it's like, oh, if you haven't seen Dumbo, you've been living under a rock. Well, now when you go to watch Dumbo, there's a like minute-and-a-half little introductory video by Whoopi Goldberg where she's explaining, hey, this film was made during a time where certain racial inequalities were, you know, existing. And so these things don't necessarily reflect, you know, the ideals of the company as of today. But in order to show a movie in its entirety as it was considered a masterpiece for its time, you know, just be aware that some of these topics might come up.
A lot more movies are doing that now.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch old time movies, like Gone with the Wind, there's like that disclaimer before that then too.
Yeah,
a lot of movies that were set from back in the day, there's a lot of a disclaimer that will come on before.
We know, or do we not know? I mean, I'm just assuming that the public is smart enough to know that movie that was made in the 50s.
No.
You're assuming
But
a
why is
lot.
the disclaimer?
So
I think people are too sensitive.
I love this whole idea
Oh,
because
gosh.
it's like an individual can handle this, but when you put them in a group is when all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, can you believe that happened? What people should be doing is, yeah, I can believe that happened. Shut the fuck up. Like, it happened. Just, you're making a big deal out of it. But no, everybody gets nudged in the side like, did you see that? Yeah, can you believe that? If you were watching it alone, it wouldn't have made a damn of a difference. But because you put people in a group and now they can start talking to each other and everybody feels like this impulse to kind of react a certain way, I think that's what's creating like the biggest fuss over everything is everybody's trying, in the age of individuality, everybody's trying to find a commonality. And unfortunately, we're all finding it to be like, oh, well, let's all get upset about race together.
I don't buy it.
There's a lot of that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of people that are super sensitive. Part of the reason I started this because I'm sorry, things need to be talked about.
And just
Because
because
you-
you're
sensitive.
offended doesn't
Let's
make you
talk about it,
right,
then maybe
so-
you won't be so sensitive about it.
Yeah, right. Just because you're offended doesn't
Right.
make you
Doesn't
right.
make you
Now,
right.
So because there's a trend happening right now, right? So I think part of the reason people jumped on this is because, and this is legitimate, the writers for all of these programs that are coming out now, they're not great. I'll be honest. I watched the Resident Evil series on Netflix. And I didn't go to a writing class in uni. I didn't write for a program or sitcom. But from the first episode, I'm like, this is written horribly. And you don't usually say that about something you watch. You're like, oh, the action's bad, or you don't say, oh, the writing is
the writing's horrid. Yeah.
bad. But when you're watching, you're like, this is written horribly. That's when you know
Is that when
something's
you're
bad.
thinking about the writing?
You know?
See, and that kind of makes me nervous because House of the Dragon drops on Sunday, and it's like
Yes.
I hope there was some talented writers with at least like 15 years experience
know.
on that shit because
It better be good and it better tie in somehow so that you can be like,
No,
oh,
we're
that's
here-
I
what
swear to
happened.
God, if there's an
Okay.
episode where you're looking at it like, was it Bring Your Kid to Work Day? And dude was like,
Like, okay, here's the deal. If it ends up like the end of Game of Thrones, I'm fucking done. Done.
That was the worst ending ever.
was it?
Yes. Yes.
Wait
It
till
had
you
so
see
many
Resident
different
Evil.
ways that they could have
Wait
gone.
till you
That was
see Resident
the
Evil.
worst.
Don't say that till you see Resident Evil series. on Netflix.
It's like, watch
You're
Resident
not
Evil.
selling it.
So Roy had a comment on the whole rated PG thing. So he said, okay, so we know that if you've been watching this show for a minute, you know that Roy is our church goer. Okay, so he said, so like we can watch The Little Mermaid at work, but High School Musical 3 can't watch The Little Mermaid, but High School Musical 3 is allowed. And he's like that The Little Mermaid is G, and if you look up the cross between live action musicals and the film, it's PG. So like it doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like where?
Man.
Why? Hold on, what? Yeah.
'Cause
So then go back and re-rate your stuff.
Parental guidance it should mean just that. Parental guidance. It should be the parent who's like, oh, is my kid mature enough to watch this or not?
Well,
just-
that's the thing is like we've misconstrued parental guidance as opposed to like guiding your children through something as opposed to sheltering them from certain things. So
Yeah.
it's like we're no longer guiding our children, we're trying to protect them from the world by trying to keep them from viewing what the world is like, which is why you get a bunch of 16-year-olds coming out and being like, whoa, I've never seen that before. Like, well, you've literally been living under a rock because that's been the course of the world for the past decade.
Yeah.
And you're just now catching up with it. So your parents did you a disservice. Your offense isn't the world's to bear. It's for you to process through and come out on the other side on your own. But what do I know? I just run a kink show, so
What do you know?
I know. All right, that got us talking though. Like, is that the end of that story?
yeah.
You got
Well,
more
man,
for
I
us?
got so much more, and you guys are gonna enjoy
okay,
this.
I'm
So.
here for it. I'm here for it.
Load
Let's have
up the next one.
Bring
Lock
it.
and load.
All right,
Bring
so
it.
for all of our, kinksters that are also into sports, we're going to be discussing this topic in greater depth next week.
Oh.
So make sure you guys tune in. But I had to just bring it up because it was fucking hilarious. All right, and I wish I could pull up the audio clip. I wish I could show you guys the video, but again, later on, we're going to touch on technical advancements that we're making in SafeWord.
Ooh.
But so all of
Satisfied face just.
are all of you guys familiar with a gentleman by the name of Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson.
yes.
Why is that not familiar?
All right, so Deshaun Watson is a quarterback in the National Football League, the NFL. I don't know how much of that we can say or how many times before we get
We're like, cut.
yeah, before we got to start paying royalties. But so this gentleman, we're just going to call him DW just in case there's some, copyright infringement based on, that whole franchise. He is a star player for a certain football team, and he was accused and brought up on charges of sexual harassment, was in some massage parlors during some off-season times where he was allegedly exposing himself and requesting, happy endings. A lot of stuff's gone over with that. He was originally signed, I believe, to the Houston Texans. They released him. He's now on the Cleveland Browns. So everybody's familiar if you're, football fans. Preseason started up. All right, so
winning team, yes.
The Cleveland Browns traveled to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. And that dude took the field to a chant from the crowd yelling, "You sick fuck," over and over again for almost an entire quarter.
What?
So,
And they can't shut up the crowd.
yeah,
so
you can't stop the crowd.
Come on. What else are you supposed to do at a massage parlor? Get a massage?
What a novel idea.
Oh my God. Don't go there to relax or get out of kink. Or get your kink out. Get your kink out at a massage parlor.
Yes. Look, the team
Does not condone this.
team pays for doctors and chiropractors and masseuses in the locker room. You go to the locker room, there's a table set up, you lay down, and the person the team pays pounds you back into shape. When you go to a parlor, it's obvious that you're looking for something else.
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah, what parlor was he at?
But then again, you are in Europe.
Parlor, a massage place where I live a few years ago got shut down for that very reason.
Oh, snap, for real.
Oh, because they were doing that.
They were doing happy
Yeah, they
endings.
were doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little unfair.
Not that I know or anything, of course. So.
It's about added value. Added value to the
Secrets to tell
customer.
us.
I just heard through the grapevine.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep. Yeah, that's why you're on
Friend
the
of a
show.
friend.
She was pissed because they didn't refund her annual membership.
Right.
I'm a little bit more stressed out these days.
Exactly. How else are you supposed to do it? Hello. But
No, I mean, to be fair, in most states there is a rule against this kind of thing. Fine, right?
Yeah.
If we want to be, if the United States wants to be prudish, and have sex work, demonized, okay, it's in the law books, right?
Right.
But generally speaking, it's a service that's offered many places outside of massage parlor, and if it's a consenting, again, this is important special word. It's if it's a consenting thing, because a lot of dudes go to like legitimate massage parlors and just start whipping things out. But whoops, sorry. Well, now that it's out, you can go ahead and massage that too. It's not part of the deal. So, but if you're like, hey, listen, if it's one of those places, I would like that, and they're like, all right, well, it's one of those places, but that's an extra.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Like, okay, so he is an NFL star. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At that point, you have connections to know what massage parlors to go to. So where are you at? Were you just trying to randomly, non-consensually pull out your hat? Here, massage this. Give me a happy ending. Like, no.
Well, I think that's part of the problem. He's an NFL star. So once you get to a certain level, all you see are the parties and the nice places, and everybody's a stripper. You don't ever meet a normal person.
Right. So. Yeah, I've dated a football player, so yes, that I can confirm that that's how a lot of football players look at women. Mm-hmm.
So this is of particular interest because he's been suspended for 6 games because of these accusations, and just recently, I believe yesterday or Wednesday, they upped the suspension from 6 games to 11 games.
Yeah.
But the hard part of that is that the way it's broken down, the division that they're in, they play some pretty big teams. One of them being the Pittsburgh Steelers, the other one being the Baltimore Ravens, with a huge fan base. And so now the concern is, what does the crowd look like when he is able to return and play in these games at away games with division rivals, where the crowd actually plays a huge factor in getting into the opposing team's head by making chants, by holding up signs, by, just being present. There's going to be fans that are eager to, get right behind, front row seats behind the 50-yard line, right at the bench, like, hey, and they're going to get his attention, and he's not going to be able to shut them up. Security can only throw out so many people before it's like, what are you going to do, restrict everybody from coming to games?
Right.
And so it's really getting into that court of public opinion that's really going to be damning here. So it's going to make for an interesting NFL season. I can't wait for 11 weeks. Like, this is going to be great.
It sounds like the country's in a place where they like chants right now. So we had a very popular one about Brandon that was prevalent for a while.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna touch on. Was they just have the media go over there and say, oh, they're chanting "Go Brandon." They're chanting something else.
Yeah. So the media will have one perspective, but as the player, if he was, they're used to being booed and hissed at from opposing teams. They're in the big leagues now. So if anything, I think it would fire him up, and he would buckle down and focus. His teammates is a different story now.
I doubt
depends.
it.
They might not support him, or they may.
Crowd yelling at you suck. I'm sorry, that's gonna throw your game off.
Oh no, it makes you angry.
Yeah.
Make you put on your A game. Look, I suck, huh? All right, watch this.
That's just gonna make you scream it louder. Are you kidding me?
About it.
All right, so psychologically speaking, I got to touch on this. Psychologically speaking, the type of individual it takes to go and think that everybody in a massage parlor wants to massage your junk is conducive with an ego that is not built for criticism, especially on a grand scale in the middle of a national game. So
maybe you're right.
I doubt that this is going to push him to persevere, as opposed to.
I concede that point.
So I think, like I said, we're in for a really great NFL season, because this is definitely going to be front and center come 11 weeks when he's able to return.
Yep.
All right. So moving on, I got a little bit of science news and something that I wanted to bring up just because it's mad interesting, and I wanted to get. It has nothing to do with kink or BDSM, although there are certain implications that this could, turn into something.
You could implicate everything with
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna Rule 34 the hell out of this. We're gonna Rule 34 this. All right. So I don't know if you guys are familiar or heard in the news lately, but there is a company called Colossal Biosciences, and right now they are working. Yeah, I'll bet you do. Lucky bastard. They are working on how best to put this. Y'all seen Jurassic Park? Everybody's seen Jurassic Park. So they're basically InGen. They are looking at, before they were really trying to push for regenerating and reanimating a woolly mammoth.
Yep.
So that ended up being a little bit too much to chew for a first bite, and so they've scaled down, not so much in their purpose, but in their vision. They're going to reanimate and attempt to revitalize an extinct species called the Tasmanian Tiger, the thiasaline.
Yep.
So this thing was
Tasmanian Tiger?
This thing was hunted to extinction. The last one died in captivity in 1936. And it was due to, there was an overpopulation. And so in order to curb the overpopulation, they released open licensing to hunt and kill. So humanity literally hunted this thing to extinction.
Yep.
And so been extinct for almost 100 years. They've got enough... there's photos of them, so I mean, it's not too far back.
Yeah, those
it's not
black and white photos.
far-fetched.
Yeah, he knows.
So they have some museum specimens that they're able to extract DNA from, and now they're going to try with the CRISPR, the gene modification tool that they're using to help prevent not miscarriages, but birth defects.
Lanes. Did they not learn anything from the Jurassic Park movies?
That's science
laid out.
term.
I don't
That's
give a
science term.
Just go. It's extinct for a reason.
Well,
because it's our fault.
well, and that's the argument.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, like if they go on woolly mammoth, you know they're gonna go T-Rex. Like, come on now. Like, I'm good. Let me be off the planet before that happens, please.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, and that's the argument, is that humans hunted this thing to extinction. It didn't go extinct on its own, like the woolly mammoth. So,
Right.
and you know, for argument's sake, the woolly mammoth was also hunted to extinction. So, this thing, they're actually making a huge headway and getting the sponsorship and getting everything that they need. They're partnering with Australian labs in order to get, you know, the DNA samples and tissues and everything, and they're going to be cross gene editing between some other. Now here's this is where it starts taking a ride. All right, I want to see who can pick up on this. It is a wolf-sized marsupial. All right, so just let that sink in for a second.
I've read
This
this article.
fucking thing is wolf-sized. I don't know if you guys have seen wolves or anything, but everybody's like, oh, they're just like dogs. No, wolves are huge.
They're huge.
Wolves
They're
are huge. Like the dire wolf in Game of Thrones, that's a
Isn't
wolf.
it? Yeah, that's a wolf.
That's a wolf. These things take down moose, elk, you know, in more northern lands. Yeah, imagine a pit bull trying to hunt down a moose. It's not happening. Wolves do it on the regular. That's their main source of food.
I've been chased by a wolf. They're fucking huge.
So, now, also, the other side of that is a marsupial. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with what a marsupial is, mice, rats, kangaroos, they're all marsupials. It's basically a mammal that has a pouch. Y'all know how fast mice and rats breed?
Yep.
Like damn near daily.
That's where the comment that woman breeds like a rabbit, like a mouse. You know what I'm saying?
But nobody's like, yo,
like a freaking rat.
that girl gets down like a kangaroo.
So
she makes babies like a kangaroo. It's like, no.
One. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know.
So how they're gonna tackle bringing, for one, all right. So let's just go ahead and talk about all the negatives of this. I don't know if you've looked outside lately, but we're in the middle of some like drastic climate shit, and we're pouring funding into bringing back some species rather than, you know, trying to take care of the ones that we got. You know, like in particular, corn, wheat,
What?
food.
We still got those.
In particular, us. Like, we're about to be an 8 billion person fucking planet. Like, what?
Those ain't gone. We still
Something
got
back
bees.
died off. We don't have food for us. What are we doing?
No. We got plenty of fish. The bees are still here. The butterflies ain't gone nowhere. Starter, right? So
Get
cool.
rid of those ones that live in denial about the climate change. Got it.
Right? They ain't gone. What tuna shortage? I still eat sushi every day.
Like, I went to sushi last night.
That's not too
What?
All right, so my last hot topic that I'm bringing to you guys tonight, and by far, I hate to say it as something that I was most eager to address with you guys, but based upon the ambition of the reaction I'm about to get, I was really looking forward to this. So, real quick disclaimer, you know, my apologies to the families of this individual. I know you guys are going through a difficult time, but we got to talk about it. So, let me just read you guys a real quick headline, and just let me forewarn you, it's exactly what you think.
Okay. Oh boy.
All right.
Co-pilot exits flight mid-air without parachute.
Wait, what? Read that again.
Co-pilot exits flight mid-air without parachute.
He must have been very close to the ground then, right? Like you're on the runway.
Nah, that would be at that point I think considered a vehicle. Like, when you say a flight, I imagine that's at least 500 feet or higher. Like,
no. American says when you push off from the gate, you're in the air. So F that.
So he just jumped off before it started
Tuck and roll
down the runway. It's fine. It's fine.
Is it
right?
a tuck and roll kind of situation?
you know what? I'm gonna say that maybe he tried.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
he didn't
Wait,
realize.
is he
he couldn't
alive?
take it
Are
off.
we recording on something where the person died? Like, what is
Oh
happening?
yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, that is exactly what happened. So, let me get into the details of this. All right, so based upon the testimony of the pilot, so there was a pilot and a co-pilot. So, long and the short of it is that it was a skydiving flight, so it's a smaller aircraft built for, taking up passengers to do skydiving events. So, the place that they were in, they were heading back to the landing strip to pick up a third load of passengers to go skydiving.
So all the passengers had jumped out at this point.
Yes, all the passengers from the second load are already out, and they're returning to pick up, the next crew. When they were coming in for the landing, the pilot was allowing the co-pilot. So I'm not an aviation expert. So like if somebody's sitting there like, yeah, no shit. Okay, I'm not a pilot. I don't have a pilot's license. But apparently the co-pilot was in charge of landing the aircraft, so he came in a little bit too hot and had what was called a hard landing. So a hard landing is when things just don't go completely perfect. So if the tire skid, if it jumps, one or too many times from what I'm reading, it's considered a hard landing. So he had a hard landing and at the time, unbeknownst to them, damaged the landing gear. So the pilot had to intervene and make corrections to get the plane back in the air and return to climbing altitude. Told the co-pilot, message in an emergency landing at another airstrip. So while traveling to the next airstrip, the pilot's testimony is that the co-pilot became sick and visibly upset, opened the back door, the main ramp, the aft ramp, and said that he needed some air. And just...
Wait, what?
Did he jump or pass out?
No, he didn't.
Like,
Did he
panic
walk
attack
off the
type
edge of the
deal.
plane? Like, what?
No.
So, according to the pilot's testimony, again, I'm going to keep referencing back to this article in the pilot's testimony just because I don't want to put speculation out there.
Yeah.
So, the pilot's testimony is that there was a handrail about a couple feet away from the departure point for skydiving that he didn't even attempt to grab. So now it's kind of becoming a little bit more clear. The issue is still under investigation, but it seems like he was kind of, upset about the hard landing. I think the implications of having a hard landing are a revocation of your license, or possibly a suspension, or some kind of drastic measure.
So what, he just committed suicide because he
Pretty
didn't want to get in
much.
trouble?
Yeah.
No.
So without
As someone who plays a lot of Microsoft Flight Simulator, all right?
Sorry.
Oh, sweet Lord.
Wait, exactly.
No.
Wait, hold on, Lanes.
No.
Lanes.
You
Did
not,
you
sir.
really just
You did
reference
not.
a flight simulator game?
First of all,
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, the latest version
I was
is
correct.
considered the best.
I'm correct. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Go ahead. You got spotlight. Go ahead,
First of
Knight.
all, a lot of people say, because it's 10 now, all right? So this is the 10th iteration of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and they say it's one of the best, okay? So there's that. Just so you
All
know.
right. Okay. All right. So as a flight simulator expert, what can you add to this story here, Mr. Knight?
Okay. So yeah, hard landings happen. They happen on commercial flights if there's a lot of wind and turbulence and things. And so you coming in from Vegas, you can get a hard landing too. It can happen. You don't get your flight revoked. There may be some, depending on the issue, there may be some remedial classes, some more takeoff and landings you have to do. But it's not worthy to try and hit the ground a lot faster than intended.
Right. Hit the ground running, literally.
Right.
Hit the ground rolling.
I'm gonna say it here. They had an argument. He's like, "Listen, you need to let up on the stick." He's like, "Don't tell me what to do." And then they got in a little tussle, and the dude Spartan booted his butt off the back of the plane. That's what happened.
I love that Knight came up with an entirely new story for this newscast. What the heck?
That's what happened.
As host of SafeWord, I'd like to
Booted him
apologize
off.
to the families of this individual if you're watching or viewing.
Right, exactly. Thanks, Knight.
Not to
This is an
cast
angle
light
for
or
them to
make fun
explore.
of this situation. However,
This is one they probably didn't consider. I'm sure they considered it.
Yeah, I'm sure. They were like, okay, wait, why did he just jump? I'm sure the family's sitting there going, wait, no, wait.
so this is the
They
kicker.
know their answer.
We all handle stress differently. So he may have had some kind of panic attack, some kind of stressful event, or a medical condition or something where hey, just
Calista.
something happened.
Calista.
So
Calista. You're sitting on the bus, and you're having an argument with some dude about the seat, and he's
I
like,
have my shank, so we're good.
that's the thing.
I'm gonna shake somebody. It's
Good
fine.
old Calista.
Forget this, and you decide to jump off the bus when it's rolling because you handle stress differently. What kind of sense does that make?
Hold up. Lanes. Hold on, Callista. You said you have a shank. You carry a shank now?
Always.
It's a far cry
Always.
from the taser you caught my ass with at the outside of Makayo's.
And this is why she's on the show.
That was a different one.
Everybody can tame Mr. K. Marcos. Hey, I'm here for it.
You got a little sparky, huh?
So for no, we're introducing Callista to the show, but real quick, she's a really good friend of mine. We go way back, and one of those way back events was we were doing a fundraising event, and after the event, we decided to go get some food. Our group went to a Makayo's that was in our vicinity, and afterwards we're all like kicking back, kind of just hanging out. I'm sitting on the tailgate of my truck, and she takes off. She comes back, and unbeknownst to me, I'm just sitting there, cutting it up with some friends, and my memories of the event are hearing a bzzz, and then getting up off the floor when I was sitting on a tailgate. So, now that we've got you here, Callista, would you mind filling in the blanks?
So you thought he was stealing the truck, and you lit him up. Is that what happened?
No, honestly, I barely remember this story because I've
I don't.
zapped a few of my good friends. So
Whoa.
I'm confused which one you were, which time this was, but because I know I've done it a couple times.
Rite of passage. That's how we become BFFs.
Oh, okay. Revoke the license. Revoke the license.
This is our friend contract. You ain't never leaving me, motherfucker.
No. Revoke that license. This is a hard landing. Take it away.
So yeah, even
Don't
to
be mad. You and I can be bona fide BFFs tonight, okay?
Oh no, I know. I gotta pay.
I don't know. She's got a shank now. It's not a taser anymore.
Yeah, no. I got a weak ticker. Don't do that to me.
Well, she's got a shake now, so you should be fine.
All right.
With out a little bit, and it'll be fine.
All right.
It's all right.
And
Put
the
some
thing
glue on
is,
it.
I love watching those sovereign citizen videos on YouTube where they're like, this is not a vehicle, this is my personal conveyance. I don't have to follow the rules, and they get their windows broken and they get lit up. And those are always fun to watch. So to know that happened to you is just
it's priceless. I'm sorry, that's amazing.
Oh, yeah,
she's on the show. Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, it's part of my core memories. That shit's ingrained.
But going back to the pilot story real quick, because I just wanted to touch on this. Mental health care in the U.S. is shit. Okay? Obviously, this guy had something going on. And because our mental health care system is such crap, I mean, I'm like, where do you even go to reach out to get help? Anything like that. I mean, it's crazy. Like the wait list even for a psychology appointment is 6 months or longer. And people have real issues that need to be talked about, worked through, need medication, and it's just lost in the wind. Bye. Okay, you got a mental problem. So what? Work it out.
It touches all of us. Like my, in my personal case, to bring the party down a bit. My mother had dementia before she passed away, a couple years ago, and 1 year she was fine, capable, and the next, wandering around the airport, lost. And they take her in, and once she's lucid, they let her go. So she's in the hospital. She's in the hospital. They know this happened. They know she has these issues, but then she's like, no, I'm fine now, and it's just that, and they can't keep her.
Right.
It was. There was nothing we could do. It was nothing we could do as her kids to be like, she really needs this help. Yeah. And unfortunately now, same thing's happening to my sister. She's going through episodes, and once they pick her, it's enough that the cops pick her up. Let's just say that, and they pick her up, and then she's lucid, and she's like, no, I'm cool.
I'm good. Yeah.
They gotta let her go.
Yep. Yep. I mean, Kane has some experience with that. His mom also suffered from dementia before she passed as well. So, and Alzheimer's, right? As well. So, I mean,
yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, I mean, I've had people in my family as well that, I mean, I had somebody commit suicide because they were just, the voices in their head told them to do it. You know what I'm saying? And there was just no help for them. It's just crazy. It's crazy that
There's got to be a better way. There has to be something. There's got to be something.
Yep.
Well,
But
if anything,
PSA, if you are having any issues, if you are struggling with something, reach out.
Please do.
There are numbers that you can contact. We don't have them here. We should be prepared.
Actually, I do, and I'll put it.
Oh, you got them. Great.
Below. Mm-hmm.
Reach out, contact somebody, let somebody know the struggle is real, but you can work through it.
especially nowadays. I mean, it's like, I don't know who decided to put the difficulty level on legendary for, you know, the middle class and lower for, you know, just society as a whole, but damn, like,
Well, and I mean, just even people that don't suffer with mental illness, or they've never been diagnosed, let's say, with a mental illness, right now with what we're going through just within life and our economy and blah, 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 all the things that just compound, okay? And they're really bad right now. If you need someone to talk to, please reach out. And even if you're just like, hey, I need someone to talk to, could you point me in the right direction? Reach out to any one of us here. We will help you out. Seriously.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's part of the reason why we're here. Mr.
100%.
Kane, was that all you had for Hot Topics?
So I just want to make one more point on this, because I thought this was the most interesting part of the statement. Was, like I said, this whole situation is still under investigation, and I think it's rightfully so, just because of the manner in which this occurred.
Right.
Because the pilot's statement, you know, reading into it, probably reading into the lines a little bit too much. The pilot issued a statement saying that the co-pilot got up from his seat, apologized, and departed the airplane via the aft ramp door. So, I don't know exactly the situation. I don't know the relationship. I don't know how this person deals with trauma or stress, anxiety, loss. There's a lot of different variables in this, but departed the aircraft via the aft ramp door seems to me like the most coldest, heartless way of expressing this.
Yeah.
It's let's say it's clinical, because you know when you're a pilot and you know yourself around planes, it's the same like with boats and stuff. You know, like a starboard side, port side. You know, you don't say you jumped off the edge. You know, you disembarked in that sense. So it can't be pilot talk if like you're on the radio. That's what you would say. You know, if you're rating it in Mayday, my co-pilot just, you know, departed the airplane through the aft ramp door. That makes sense in that regard. But
so this
if he was like on the ground,
this was on the ground. This was part of the incident report that this statement came from. So
you know, that's a little too professional, which means it's a story that, you know, he's like, I'm sorry, bro. No.
Yeah,
No, he said sorry. Booted him off the back of the plane. That's what happened.
What else do you know? Yeah. Well, hopefully, follow that story for us, Kane, and bring it back to us.
Oh yeah, I'm on top of it. I've got notifications. So
I would really like to know what happens with that.
Well, I put money on it now. Roy can back me up on this. We could have a little wager between Roy and ourselves. I say the pilot booted him out the door. Support me or not? That's my bet right now.
Drop your comments down below. Who you supporting?
I'm gonna say the pilot had a hand in it. I'm definitely of the mind, like I said, that was a little too professional the way it was handled, and unfortunately, I mean, there was only one witness, and that's the testimony we're forced to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Follow the money. Follow the money.
Yep.
So.
All right, so is that all you have for Hot
Yes,
Topics?
that is all I have for Hot Topics. I know we got an exciting show planned, if not a long one, you know, an interesting one. So, without further ado, I turn it back over to Miss Orora Storm for the continuation of what you all came here for, which is kink, BDSM, and relationships, not people jumping out of planes and revitalizing extinct animals.
Right,
I had a great time explaining that to y'all. I had a great time sharing with you guys and reading the comments. So
thank you, Kane. Bravo. Yes. Next week, please don't bring us anything sad. Okay. So let's get this kicked off, you know, the right way. we're going to do this show a little bit differently. I kind of want to explain what's going on because I'm sure, like, if you've been watching our show, you're like, what the heck is happening here? So the SafeWord's taking a new direction, doing some new things. We got some plans and some future stuff happening. And so, yeah, we just want to make sure that we, share with you everything that's going to be happening, right? So, yeah, I think that you've noticed that there's been some changes. Kane, would you like to maybe elaborate on some of the changes?
Probably the most visible change is that there's a couple new squares in the box.
Yeah.
I'm a new square, not as new as the new square. But
yeah, I told him he can't claim new anymore. He's not new.
We
back off.
We have Calista Fury in the house.
Right. Right.
And in place of the former co-host. Now, a lot of it's really annoying when people try and talk around a subject and like, well, there's a an empty placeholder for no, we can just come out and talk, right?
Okay, but wait before we do that, I'm gonna have Kane introduce our new host real quick because we do need to have him, and since he knows her personally, I think it's best.
I mean, he did get a couple volts.
Give us a taster story. So let's see what you got to say about the new host here, Mr. Kane.
She's got a taser.
I just got a taser.
All right, so yes, just like Knight was mentioning, we've seen some revamping, we've seen some changes, most particularly in this square right here. I'd like to introduce my good close friend, Miss Calista Fury, welcoming her to the SafeWord family. Now, I beseech everyone in the comments to be nice, be cool, and enjoy this fabulous introduction that I'm about to give to Miss Calista Fury. So, this person is, like I said, a very dear friend of mine. Based upon recent changes, it became a little bit of a necessity to implement and introduce some new talent to the SafeWord show. And so, without further ado, I bring to you guys, in all of her glory and splendor, Miss Calista Fury. So,
yes.
Hello.
Dude, thank you for being part of the team.
Hi.
Welcome,
I'm super
welcome,
excited
welcome.
to be a part of the team. I appreciate that. And I think those are the nicest words you've ever spoken to me about me.
Since the incident.
This
Absolutely.
is why you got taped.
Yes.
This is why you got taped.
Of
Don't
all
get
time.
don't get used to it. Next
Was
week
not
you're
expecting that.
next
No.
week you're screwed. So
Next week you're a part of the crew. So I mean, just expect to get verbally tased. Okay.
yeah, it's as much as I can do to get back at you.
So real quick, I'm just going to let you guys know how this show is running down. We're going to do like a quick recap on why I started SafeWord, right? Some of the growing pains from the first episode, and why I, chose the hosts that I started with to begin with. Okay, so let me just real quickly, we're going to go into all this because I've done this before, all right? SafeWord's headed in a new direction. I want to see it grow, So, the reason I started SafeWord, honestly, was, and I've said this a couple times in a couple lives, I'm sure you guys have heard it, okay? Europe is what opened me up, but before that, I come from a family that's very open sexually. My mom was a dom, and we talked about sex all the time. It wasn't something that was weird, like let's put it this way. My little brother, when he got his first pubic hair, came running into the room and puts his leg up on the banister and goes, look hair, and we're all like, yes, fuck yeah, all right, you're a man. This is how open my family is, okay? So it was really confusing to me when I started school, and in 6th grade they have the health class and they're teaching about fallopian tubes and the whole and I'm sitting in class and I'm just like, all these kids are laughing and I'm going, what is funny, and I had all the answers, just ovaries, to a point where the teacher was like, okay, Orora, do you want to just come up here and teach the class? Can I? So, and I've really realized just within the work that I've done and helping people out, I've always kind of counseled people. A lot of issues stem around sexual issues that people aren't freaking talking about. So I started SafeWord to have a safe, judgment-free zone where people could come and be comfortable about their kinks, get information about kinks, talk about sex, and plus, we all just a bunch of freaks. So you don't have to get some people on here. Talk about Predator. Talk about some stuff, okay? So we ain't gonna point at ourselves and go, no, Mr. Predator on a second live. Okay. So that's literally why I started it. I wanted a safe zone for people to feel comfortable in their own skin and know that the things that they're into isn't wrong. As long as you're getting consent, as long as you're talking about it, communicating, and that's what we aim to teach. So that's why I started it. Growing pains from the first episode. There's been a lot. There's been a lot. Learning editors, learning how to put this business together. I am fully licensed. It's been growing. Hopefully now though, we good. We good. Okay. So
lanes.
Right, lanes. So
let me. No, that's the safe word, lane.
No, yeah, go ahead.
He's like, yeah. No. So from these growing pains, like, what are some of the things you learn about setting up this podcast in this format? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm interested in setting up a podcast. It seems easy. So what were actually some of the challenges that you had to face when putting this together?
A ton, because I had to get people together. We had meetings every night during the week, so that we could bond and build together like a family and friends. Because here's the deal, nobody really knew each other. I knew everyone, but everyone else didn't know each other. So I had to bring everybody into the crew and be like, okay, look, we're going to hang out and we're going to act like we're doing a live. We're going to run through this, and then I had people on the team that were like, let's start it now. We've been doing rehearsals for like weeks. Let's start it now. And I'm like, I want a couple videos in the bank. Can I get a couple? Can we record? No, everybody's pushing me. So we started it. So a lot of the growing pains has been like, I'm trying to catch up because I said every week I'm going to come out with something, so that's been a lot of it. And then not really knowing what I was doing when I started the company. So I started the company, started everything, then had to backtrack and do all the business end of it. So I was legit. And yeah, had I started this, more thought worthy, I probably would have started with the business end of it first, brought people together, and then, move that direction. But I mean, you learn, you live and you learn, So, but there's definitely been, conflicts of interest between hosts and people, and, you just got to put on a good face and bring a show. So, there's always growing pains in entertainment. I mean, that's just what it is. But the reason why I chose the host that I started with, so in the very beginning, I had Remy and Phoenix, right? Remy was a Dom, and he's my longtime friend for a very long time. He's worked in dungeons, he's had slaves, the whole nine. So he was obviously the perfect person to, bring in on this team. And then Phoenix was somebody that had a lot of experience in the industry, in the adult industry world, right? So she could openly speak on these things. And then, there was an issue with scheduling. That whole thing, had to replace her. So found new people that had those same kind of abilities to be judgment free, be able to talk about sex without going, oh my gosh, we're talking about vagina. I couldn't have any of that. So that's ultimately what helped me pick my hosts in the beginning. So yeah, that's why I started it. The hosts that we've chosen so far, and only hoping to go up from here. Mr. Kane, would you like to at least introduce both of our new co-hosts to the team, and maybe give them a little insight to the pink square?
Yes, ma'am. All right. So just in case anybody was wondering, we're not difficult to work with. One of the biggest challenges that I feel like Orora was really downplaying or not addressing. Just because she's amazing at her craft and everything that she does. However, one of the things that she was not able to control, and it was outside of all of our control and something completely unforeseen, was the time and the distance between all of us. So you've heard us mention a couple times, Night is out in Europe. We're not going to give specific locations, countries, or anything, just in case, we got some stalkers viewing.
Yeah. He's like, I like it.
Myself and Orora are the only ones who are the closest. We live in the same city. Whereas our new co-host, Callista, is up north a ways, in that general region. And like we said, Night is out in Europe. And so the time differences, the scheduling, the ability to get everybody on the same page as far as, hey, what time are we meeting? What time are we going live? I have appointments. I have other responsibilities. That conflicts with my schedule. And it's like, okay, well, when you agreed to sign on and everything else, you agreed to these times. So partying and, wanting to have a Friday night kind of not necessarily takes a back burner, but if you're going to prioritize leisurely activities as opposed to responsibilities, then that becomes a huge issue that we had to address recently. And which is why I get the pleasure of, again, reintroducing the pink square with Miss Callista Fury. So,
but we also have a new square, also kind of new, the blue one over there too. So,
yeah, that was about 2 weeks old. We're good.
Now we did find out a little bit about me and what I bring to the program. This a very unique perspective, we can say. But I am also new to meeting Callista, and I'd like to find out a little bit more about the secrets behind the mask.
Absolutely.
And I think Mr. Cole's got some questions here.
I do, just a couple general questions, just to get everybody a little bit more familiar with who Callista is and why we decided to invite her to join the SafeWord crew. So, just for starters, Miss Callista, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Callista Fury. I've known Kane for several years. So I'm sure as we go on, we continue learning about each other, and Orora. A lot of good stories will come out.
Yeah.
If they're coming out of Kane's mouth, they're not all true.
I like
they're
it.
absolutely
true. Watch you part of the time.
Nope, they are absolutely true.
Yep.
But no, I enjoy sex. I'm a sexual being, and so I just want to help, build that safe place of, having a safe place to talk about sex. It's not something that we should all hide behind. We all know our grandmas did it. So
No, she didn't.
I know, right? So it's common, it's normal, and we should all feel just safe and comfortable talking about it.
Exactly. Yep.
All right.
I love it.
So,
oddly enough, Grandma seems to be more comfortable talking about it than anyone else today.
Right. Literally.
It's weird.
well, yeah. If you haven't lately, take some time to listen to Grandma, and you'll be like, "Oh my God, yeah." You don't got 11 uncles and aunts because she was a good, wholesome woman.
Yeah.
Talk to Grandpa. He's got some stories. All right. So, how many years of experience would you say that you have within the kink community?
All of them.
All of them.
Oh.
All of them.
Dang it.
All the years.
No, on a professional level, not that much. But, I like to get freaky.
We're here for it. We are here for it.
Oh.
Yeah, we're here
good
for
stories.
it. Exactly.
Wait, just to clarify that, because I got to be the devil's advocate in the room now. Now, a lot of people say that, they're like, oh yeah, I like to get down, I like to get freaky, and then when the rubber hits the road and it's time, all of a sudden it's like, oh. So how legit are you? Are you legit, or are you just saying that, yeah, me too?
They put me in the pink square for a reason. Pink is a really nice, good color. So
Ooh, I like it. Okay, I'm here for it. She's like, I'm in the pink. Look here.
I love the double
I'm in the
entendre. Like, damn, that was smooth. Like, that wasn't rehearsed or anything, ladies and gentlemen. That was, straight off the cuff. That was amazing and brilliant. All right, so final question though. What would you say your kink is?
impact play. I like smacking and grabbing and tussling around. Love it.
Yes.
Right.
Hands everywhere.
He's an offensive lineman. Okay, for the Browns. Okay.
She's like,
Watch out for that QB.
He's on the O-line. Okay.
yeah. So if you watch the video, I mean, you already got a hint towards it because she says impact play.
And the way she says it too is just like, you know what it is. Like,
Yeah, you know what it is. I don't gotta explain it. You know.
Yes. Someone who enjoys what they do. That is definitely a sign of that. Oh, all right, I'm on top of it. I'm here
Yep.
for it.
All right, so Mr. Knight, I believe you had some information to divulge to the rest of the community and us. So
So let's
Take
speak
it away,
frankly.
Knight.
Let's speak frankly, because no need to dance around the subject. You're not seeing Sasha.
Well,
Why? What happened? So, I came on. I met Sasha very briefly. We had a couple lives, and then the last few have been interesting.
dang.
They've been interesting. You should check them out on the YouTube channel, like and subscribe, because you have an idea to see the difference between maybe the previous shows and the last few shows. Now, regardless of what happens in your everyday life, like Aurora said, this is a business. So it's something, it's not just a couple of pals having drinks on YouTube. It's a thing. It's a legitimate project that she wants to take and make very successful. So if you need to take some time for your personal life and things like that, accommodations can be made. But when you jeopardize a project, regardless of if it's working at Wendy's, if it's working in a corporate environment, if it's a creative project between entertainers, if you jeopardize that project because of certain things, it needs to be addressed. You would think. Without getting into specific details, it was decided best that everyone part ways, and that's what happened. That's part of the growth process.
Yeah, that's part of the growth process, and honestly, it's more than that. So something that most people don't understand when they sign on to something like this. Okay, look, we're all here for free. Okay, I need y'all to understand that we're all here, but we ain't getting like a major paycheck to be here on our Friday night. None of that. So it's a lot of work, and for the most part, it's a lot of extra work outside of your own life. Okay. And so it makes it, difficult to commit. And that's literally what has been the issue with all of my hosts. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point, they're just like, oh, okay, but can we cut back a little bit? Can we not do videos? Can we not do this? And I've had it with all of my hosts. And so I'm just like, yeah, okay, but look, this is my vision and this is what I see happening. And I've had some things like happen to where it's like, okay, my vision is on the right track. So like when I'm asking for certain things, I expect people to meet those. Regardless, you signed up for it, you're committed. So be here and be committed. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving up my Friday too. I'm here, but I'm here for a bigger cause. I'm here for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm here so that people can have a place to be and fit and feel okay. And if we're not portraying that within our own group, then how the heck do we move this show forward? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and if I can address something to that topic, it is our Friday night, and absolutely there's other places that we could be. I mean,
Right.
We're all, professionals and kinksters in our own rights, in our own ways. Some of us on a little bit more of a professional scale than, hosts previous. But, I mean, we're all here to do a certain project. We all have a certain vision. We all have a certain expectation of what we envision SafeWord to be. We don't do the introduction to this show lightly. I mean, it really is a platform on a, streaming channel, bringing education, just open-mindedness and a level of, I guess you would call it just, spontaneity to a subject that has been, brushed under a rug, has been tabooed, has been looked down upon, has been shunned, has been, I mean, the things that we talk about, I mean, we couldn't be writers for Lightyear, that's for damn sure. And
Never say
so,
never.
with that being said, I mean, we're all here on our Friday night as well, and not to say that there's better things that we could be doing, but as opposed to the things that we could be doing, we make the honest choice to come here and try to create the world that we see, working a little bit better, which is open communication about sexual education, which is, bringing to light some of these taboo subjects that, people have been made to feel ashamed for. On the talk of, mental health and everything, a lot of mental health institutes have just a barrage of clients who are dealing with sexual frustrations.
Ooh,
And so
Dr. Freud.
that could, yeah, right. So damn you, Freud. A lot of that can be addressed here. I mean, just addressing this podcast, just, coming in, tuning in every Friday and not feeling so abnormal as opposed to the rest of society because you like certain things. I mean, I'm open about my foot fetish. I mean, you have my email and everything at the bottom. If you want to send feet pics, I'm all about it. I'm not ashamed to say that I have a fetish. I am a kinkster. I am a dom. I have, a private life which I make very public to everybody on this, just like Orora does, just like Knight does, just like Callista does. So yeah, there's absolutely certain things that we could be doing on Friday night, like engaging in our sexual tendencies. But we come here to bring you guys the information. We come here to, yeah, we are all really good friends and everything, but at the bottom line, we're all professionals coming to the table, trying to get everybody a little bit more comfortable so that way they can have as much fun on a Friday night as we would be having if the world was a little bit more open.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And it's not to say that any of the hosts that were previously on this show didn't contribute to it, didn't add to it. I mean, I think everyone that has been on this show has added something to this show. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, hell yeah.
Some way or another. I mean, Sasha, for instance, used to do all of the ads and, did a lot of the editing for some things and, marketing and all of that. So, I mean, every person has taken something and created something and left a piece of them here. And that's not to say that you won't see them again. Hence the reason. You guys need to watch my videos because there's little teasers throughout videos. Okay. You see Remy going, yum, 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 throughout the entire video. That's because he might be making a special appearance. Okay. But that's later on down the road. Anyways. But so, I mean, it's not to say that like, just because they didn't work out to stick around the full time that they won't be back. You know what I'm saying? They won't show back up and show their face. Personal things happen and life happens, And
like
you got to move on.
One of the most important things, and Callista can also opine on this, is a good question. Is like, why did I choose to do this show?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Why did I come on here? And
that's why I was going to flip it next, is to ask you guys why you were doing the show. So. Real honestly, hold on, and I'm gonna kick it to you less because I want to hear from Callista first because she's new, all right. So new, okay, and then she's I'm on the pink, and I like to get freaky. So why don't you tell us why you are actually doing this show outside of I'm trying to create a safe space because I'm professional and this is what I did you forget? So just tell us like legit, candid. Why you're doing the show.
Oh, well, I mean, that can be a lot of reasons other than having, my good friend asking me, hey, let's get together. Let's talk, let's banter, but honestly, I just like sex.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, and just other than, yeah, it's a safe place or whatever. But if I can make someone else feel comfortable talking about it, because when I'm out with my girlfriends and everything, we sit there and we talk about,
all of it. All of it.
All of it.
Nothing
is untouched. So if I can still bring, that same kind of energy and everything here, and so that way I can maybe get to know somebody else too, I mean, that's just going to make the world a little bit better place. So
yeah. Okay, I like it. All right, Mr. Knight, because I know you just like, let me tell you why I'm doing this.
Come on, Predator, tell us why you're here.
As we know, my answers are always very complicated.
Right, that's why I waited for you to play.
So, one of the first, there's let's say two reasons. There's a professional reason, and then there's a personal reason. Mm-hmm. The professional reason is probably the easiest. I wanted to entertain again. I wanted to get back on the mic and talk to people and be part of a show and a podcast. Yeah. So, just the technical aspect of having someone that already set it up and went through all the growing pains so I don't have to was a benefit. And that's one of the, let's say, professional reasons, because it keeps me, in practice, it keeps me busy. And oddly, it's a, let's say it's one of those things when you have a great idea and you turn it into something even better, it's always a win. So personal,
Personal. Yeah,
Choose
that's what I'm
that
like.
too, real quick. I choose that reason too.
I like that. Yeah, me too.
That
All right,
sounds
you
good.
can borrow
Yep.
That's what he said.
You can borrow that one.
He said.
The personal reason is a little bit more, let's say, nuanced. Now, I'm open about being autistic, which was actually recently diagnosed, but my entire life I was autistic. So all the things that I didn't know why I was doing, or why people reacted to me a certain way, suddenly made sense, which is a weird thing to suddenly come to later in life. But the feeling that I had of not being understood or being misunderstood or being judged because I looked at things a certain way, I have years of experience with. And I would hate for anybody to go through that. You know, it's a painful thing. It's a painful process. So to talk about these subjects where you may have a particular preference on things, or you may have a particular kink, and to not be judged, and to not be, within the confines of the law, but even then, to be understood or listened to at the very least, to have people, open up a dialogue about things that concern you, I think is very important. So the personal reason for being part of that is to help foster that environment and give a place for people to at least listen to topics if they don't want to take part, or open a dialogue about things where 9 times out of 10 people would give you the stink eye. And and that's part of one of the main reasons why I like being.
I like it. Thank you. Yeah. So see, I got a solid team. Okay. So I know that, and we've talked a little bit about where SafeWord's going. I want to see this thing take off, be huge. But Mr. Kane, would you like to tell us some of the updates we're going to be doing technically?
Yeah, that's my kink. Give me the tech, baby.
I want to hear the technicality of where SafeWord is going.
All right, so just a real quick, I don't think I've ever really indulged in why I decided to join the SafeWord crew.
Oh yeah, that's
so,
actually, yeah. I don't think we've ever touched on that. Yeah.
Orora came to me, and it was almost like planets and stars aligned at this particular instance, because the time that she reached out to me, I had just gone through a situation that was kind of unique, something that I wasn't prepared to handle, which, Roy, you're not going to want to hear, so cover your ears, bud. I kind of felt like anybody who's familiar with religious practices and everything else, read a Bible or gone to church or anything, there is a situation that occurred between Jesus and his disciples where he was denied 3 times. And not to, boister myself as, some kind of deity, but I kind of went through the same thing. I had a good, close personal friend of mine, and when we were alone together, and the topics that we used to conversate about were always very sexual in nature, which never really bothered him, never really bothered me. And so one time, around another friend that he introduced, he decided to all of a sudden become this pious character that never talked about that stuff before. And it was just like, where did my friend go? Who are you right now? Like, what's with the company? And so it really just kind of made me come to a realization that a lot of people still aren't comfortable talking about this without people that they're comfortable with. And so cue Orora messaging me saying, hey, I'm starting up a podcast trying to spread, sexual education and get everybody a little bit more comfortable talking about sex. And it was like, what? Are you
what?
For real? Like, because no lie, I just had a situation where this would have come in handy. So that was what my driving force behind coming aboard SafeWord was trying to help other people not get into those situations where being with their friends and everything and talking about some of the things that interested them, talking about mental health and all that stuff, not being able to talk about sex is like, what else do you, for me, it's like, what else do you talk
those
about
Browns.
then?
Yeah, like what else do you talk? That's me. I'm sorry. I'm like, eventually somewhere in the conversation, it's going to sex. I like it. If you can't talk about sex, then We can't have a conversation.
How's the weather where you're at?
Well, and that's my thing is just like for me, if I'm having a conversation with somebody and we start talking about the weather, it's just like, all right, you and I need to part ways. You know what? It was good talking to you. Thank you so much for, your time, your consideration, everything. But if we're talking about the clouds in the sky and if it's going to rain tomorrow, then this conversation is done, dead, and we ain't got shit else to talk about. So, I mean, unless it's going to get a little bit more interesting, then it was nice meeting you. Yeah, weather, traffic, things like that. I'm somebody who hates talking about politics. Just if that's your main course, if that's your backbone, if that's your go-to, then you lost me, because I'm one of those people that don't think that anything really works. And so right now we're all just grabbing at straws and seeing if we can satisfy everybody. What everybody does talk about, whether they do it publicly, privately, or otherwise, is sex. Mm-hmm. Sex is like Legos, good for ages 18 to 99. Just yo.
And before you go box. Before you get on to the technical of it, I have a comment to read. Okay, you ready? You ready, Knight? This is about you. He said, "Don't let Knight lie. His crush on me is why he wanted to do the show."
She told me we have a viewer you're gonna like. Come on, I've seen viewers.
Compliments of Mr. Roy. Just had to drop that on you. The reason you joined the show was because of your crush, Roy. Not because
it's building. It's building. Slowly but surely.
It's getting there. It's getting there. The more you comment, though, man.
Yeah. The more you comment, the more interested I get.
Yo, you're grabbing his attention. There you go. Just comment away, Roy, like you're not already doing that. But go ahead. All right.
Hey, Roy, message me. I'll give you his number.
Stop it. He will. He'll message you and be like, "Where's Knight's number?"
It's European. So watch those minutes.
Best get on that unlimited.
So I really loved, just real quick before you go on to the technical of it, I really love this crew that I'm working with right now, and your guys' answers couldn't have been more spot on for what I would look for some, and I honestly didn't even know what their answers were. We did not rehearse that. That's not something, it came on the fly. So thank y'all for being here and having you. I'm appreciating this. I'm appreciating this. Okay, so Mr. Kane, would you like to tell our viewers what they're going to be able to see? Because this isn't it. I mean, we're working towards something, but this isn't it.
No, absolutely not. This is not it. So, man, just dealing with the technical side of this, I'm glad to have Knight on board because he is really familiar with what it is to run a little bit more professionally. So thanks to him, we are now operating off of a different streaming platform. We got away from Zoom, so that's one of the changes, technical changes that we've made thus far. But something else that we have in the works is we're also working on increasing the resolution on our videos, so that way you get your favorite SafeWord hosts and all of their unique and beautiful details. Just streaming on YouTube and other streaming platforms coming soon. One of the other things that we're really working on adding right now is, just some sound effect capabilities, because every now and again, you can hear Knight blow his nose, or, Orora clear her throat, or, Kane bust ass, so we're trying to get some background noises in there just to kind of round this out, get a nice little musical background, maybe some light piano. I'm working on a violin piece for y'all. But
like, I'm being a pianist. Yes.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I misinterpreted that. I always wanted to be, a pianist. So I heard that the wrong way the first time, and I was just like, that's interesting. I would love to introduce myself thus far from there.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It was like, yeah, I'm a pianist. No, not what you were thinking. The other thing with the keys.
The other thing with the P.
So we're working on implementing a sound deck. We got a sound deck set up. Now we're just working on the software issues. So for everybody else, it's a little bit more technical out there. I'm having a rough time with this. So if you want to offer your services, I'm all for it. But I'm having a little bit of a software issue. Otherwise, we'd be having some beep sound effects going on right now. One of the other things that we're working on, and by far one of the biggest things, is that we're trying to implement ways to reach a broader audience. We're revamping the marketing. We're revamping advertising. We're revamping our social medias, so that way we can
Exciting.
start getting a little bit more traction on this aspect, just to start being a little bit more prevalent within the sexual communities. So there's a lot of websites out there. There's a lot of different approaches that you can make to finding out all about all of this information. But one of the best things is that with us four here, we kind of bring it to you in a way that's a little bit easier to take. I mean, it's sometimes finding out that you have a kink is a little bit daunting, because then you have to start asking around or trying to figure it out. It's like back in the day, you know, having to use a library, having to use a dictionary and all that stuff. It's like, where do I go? Where do I start? And if I ask questions, who's going to make fun of me for, like, you don't know this? You
Right.
come here to SafeWord, and, you know, all the information's laid out bare. We don't, you know, shy around topics. We're not dancing on eggshells.
I actually want to add to that. I'm going to piggyback on this. And part of the reason that I have picked hosts in different locations, okay, it's always been like that. We've all been spread out. And part of that reason is so that you get a full thought process from both, you know, 2 men, 2 women from all over the place, so that you can see how sex is talked about, how it's viewed, just through different walks of life. And if we were all in the same place, then it would be all pretty much kind of the same views, except for, you know, your own personal opinions.
Your
So
own
I
bubble. Yes.
in a lot of different culture and, you know, backgrounds, and let me grab people from other places. So, you know, so that you get a full, well-rounded understanding of how people think about sex. And shit, there's tons of different colors on this screen, and we all talk about sex. So there's no wrong, you know, right or wrong way to do it, and we're here for it. You can talk about sex too. We're here for it.
And as the youngest member of the team, I bring that also.
Oh,
Who?
wait, I'm offended. Stop.
Hold on, wait, who? Wait, you're the youngest member?
What? Don't act surprised now.
Fuck you,
No
Silver
way.
Fox.
Look here, Knight. I know you. No, you're not. Let's just put it this way. I used to be the oldest member. Not anymore.
All right, first of all, I identify as young, okay? So you have to respect that. You have to respect that.
And by the way, Mr. Knight, I have to add this in here. And King, both of y'all, lashings handed out. Because now Roy is commenting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We up to 27. Just to make Knight fall more in love with me. We're up to 27. He's still going. Just so y'all know. Oh, you got him to dance. That's huge. That's huge. This man does not dance.
There you go. That was for you.
I would be jealous, but Roy's an awesome person. I have no problem sharing him.
Oh, that's so sweet. Polyamory happening all around. I love it.
He's just like really in touch with his sensitive side today. What is that?
Oh, a lot's happened.
You know, that's the thing. That's what we bring. We open up like a blossom. That's why like relationships.
Yeah,
they open up.
yeah, right. They're like these hard rocks, and then eventually they just go whoopee.
Little lotus blossom.
No, I'm a Sour Patch Kid. I'll be sour, but I can also be sweet.
I'm feeling that. So, Mr. King, we're gonna be bringing a lot more technical stuff, as you can
There's
see.
some cool sound effects. We have some cool backdrops, and then hopefully one day, sooner than later, we'll have some cool sponsors as well. Put some cool things on the screen.
Well, and here's the deal. SafeWord's had a lot of interest, so that's why I'm still here for y'all. Okay, like for real. SafeWord has had a lot of interest. We've had people come in and out. I've had offers on the table. So, I mean, we gonna be here. Because here's the deal. I turned down an offer so that the faces you see right here are the faces you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? Because they wanted to take my show and replace it with new hosts. No, ain't doing it.
Yes, they wanted to change the diversity.
Change it up. You know, with well-known household names.
Well,
that
and that
don't
was
have any experience in kink.
well, and that was the brilliance of Aurora's planning and all this. Was before this ever started, before our first live show, I mean, we were already a business. We were already licensed. We were already, you know, had everything professional and legally in the works, so that way nobody could just view our channel and say, like, I like the idea. There's no license, there's no copyright, there's no registration, so that's my show now. But I mean, we've got it set in place where no, we're not the only podcast out there talking about it, but we are the only ones, 4 squares, 2 men, 2 women, which is what we were always trying to bring to the table, so that way we could more than just entertain, but educate, inform, just be there for you guys.
Also,
Beautifully said.
entertain and curse and talk about sex. Okay.
Well, that's the fun part.
And go off the rails a little bit. It's a podcast. All right. But, I mean, do you have anything else to add to this that you might be bringing to the table? I mean, like, are you getting naked on SafeWord sometime soon? No? Oh, okay. No.
Me?
Okay.
No, negative.
Yeah, I was seeing the face like scrunch. No? Okay, so we can't look forward.
Not on the live.
We can do a bathtub stream. That's the thing. See, because now it's legal. Like, where you can stream if you're in a hot tub, and you could wear, a hot tub.
You in the tub.
So if we get enough subscribers, I will stream from the bathtub.
Yep, exactly. I'm gonna need that so I can just put it up on our Instagram as a reel.
All right, that's the thing. It's gonna be bubbles. I'll have little
Bubbles. Yeah, hold on, and your
Roy is about to make like 500 different email accounts and register and subscribe.
Hey, as long as we hit the subscription number,
we're good. All right. So, I mean, I think that's pretty much our show for this evening. We just wanted to come in and kind of show you our Miss Callista. So, everybody give her a round of applause. Say thank you.
I'm gonna give you a new outro. Hold on a second.
He said, wait. He's our tech guy. He's our tech guy. As you can see, he's really handy with the tech. You see this? Because he's holding the show so well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're trying to get off and let people have their Friday, but it's cool. You play a sound. Go ahead, boo.
All right.
Next.
Now we can head out. That's our outro.
I like it.
Thanks everybody for coming to SafeWord. It's been an amazing show this Friday. Callista, Fury in the house, Kane Marcos, Night Wagner, and Orora Storm. What an amazing show we had today. Quick recap, Callista, how'd it go for you?
Oh, just fine.
She was great.
We're going to Disneyland.
Kane with our amazing hot topics and our technical advancements, and the quarterback of the entire team, Orora Storm, bringing it home. We'll see you next week.
I like it. Good night.
All right, chill. That's not licensed in Europe, but it is here.
Right, exactly. We're gonna have to pull that shit down.
All right, everybody. That's our show for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Knight, for handling the outro. But thank you so much for everybody. Enjoy your Friday nights. Enjoy your safe words. Have some fun. Be kinky. And remember, always, always, always stay safe and communicate. Gets consent. Join us next week. We'll see you guys next